What's good, YouTube? This is Boxingwave, and I just wanted to do a quick prediction video between Robeisy Ramirez against Dogboe. It's gonna be going down this Saturday on ESPN Plus, April 1st at 8 p.m. Eastern. I think it starts. All right. As far as me doing live commentary, I will let you guys know after the AJ fight if I'm gonna jump back on live because I'm gonna cover that fight earlier in the afternoon first, and that's gonna be a long card, and then after that, I'll jump on. I'll try to jump on for this fight later this evening or that evening. All right, but I'll let you guys know. I'm just not sure. All right, but just quick prediction. This fight is gonna be for the WBO title at 126, the featherweight title, and it's good because this title is a vacant title, and I think at the winner of this fight will have champions all throughout the division. Right? Very confusing. There's a lot of titles out there, but you have Ray Vargas, who's the WBC champ. All right, he went up to 130, lost to Ashaki Foster, but he was still the champion at 126. So he's gonna come back down and defend his title against. He's the interim title champion. No, I'm sorry, he's the full champion. Brandon Figueroa, who just beat Mark Masayo, is now the interim WBC champion. So eventually they gotta fight each other, right? And then you have I think Mauricio Lara is the WBA title holder. He's a WBA title holder, and he's been elevated because Leo Santa Cruz was the title holder, but he vacated the title. So Mauricio Lara just recently beat Lee Wood, so he's a champion now. And then over the IBF, you have Luis Alberto Lopez, who's going to defend his title against Mike Conlan. That news just got released maybe a couple days ago. All right, so he's going to defend his title against him. All right, so eventually, hopefully, we can get all these ties to start unifying with each other. And it's late, y'all, so don't mind me. It's really late. I'm a little tired, but I wanted to get these videos out the way. So this is a good fight, good matchup. Isaac Dogboe has been doing his thing. He lost to Manuel Navarrete, who basically got his name from those wins against Isaac Dogboe, right? Those two back-to-back fights. Where in the first fight he was able to dominate Dogboe, but it went to a decision. In the second fight, he was able to stop, and the towel was thrown halfway through the final round, and he won again against Isaac Dogboe. But Dogboe went on to pick up some good wins. Pretty close fights, though. He's had fights against Adam Lopez, Joet Gonzalez, Christopher Diaz. Let me pull up. I didn't even pull up their resumes or whatever. He had some good comeback wins. All right. All right. So he came back. He lost to Navarrete. I remember he changed trainers, started fighting different, started to box a little bit more. I think he took the approach of being a very aggressive against Navarrete. All right. And he learned. Navarrete was just too big, too powerful for him, and he took a beat down in both fights. But after that fight, he was taking more of a boxer approach. Still aggressive, but more on working on counter punchers and working on countering and stuff like that. So he went on to beat Chris Avalos, who's far past it. Good prospect at one point. He was able to get a win over Adam Lopez, who's always game. Beat Christopher Diaz, beat Joet Gonzalez. Some of these fights, controversial, close fights, majority decision wins or split decision. A lot of people felt Joet won the fight. I did remember watching the fight. I thought Joet won the fight 6-4, but the fight was close. All right? Not a robbery for me. Too close to call it a robbery, but I do believe that Joet Gonzalez won the fight. And now he's fighting Robeisy Ramirez, who is the Olympic gold medalist from Cuba, beat Shakur Stevenson in the Olympics. And I think he actually won. I don't believe that Shakur got robbed. I believe Ramirez won that fight. All right. It was close. It was good. It was close. But I think Ramirez won the fight. Remember he came into the pros, lost his first professional fight. Kind of thought that he was going to be a bust since he lost that fight. But he's been going on a good streaks of wins, and he's been stopping his opponents, and he's been looking phenomenal. And he's showing us a bit of everything because he's a southpaw. He can box really, really good. but he's been showing his power, and then he's, in his recent win against Abraham Nova, who was probably one of the best fighters on his resume, very, very good up and coming prospect fighter. He actually, I love the way he pressured Nova. Not for nothing. We know, guys. There's a lot of pressure fighters in the division. And Isaac Dogboe used to be a pressure fighter. We see guys like Emmanuel Navarrete. We seen guys like Brandon Figueroa. We seen these guys that just overwhelm you with pressure and volume. But Ramirez, and the way he's been fighting lately, just walking his guys down and just changing levels and feinting, just ducking underneath these guys' punches and countering. The way he's been doing it, it just looks so much more effective and efficient than the other fighters. We know those guys like Navarrete and Figueroa throw a lot of punches, and they have the power, especially Navarrete. He has the power to hurt these fighters, and they're very awkward. But the way Ramirez did it against Nova was just so impressive, man. Because Ramirez is just, he's beating you mentally. He's taunting you at the same time. He's smiling in your face. And like I said, he changes levels a lot. Right? He changes levels a lot, but I noticed that, and depending on the referee, this could change the fight. I noticed that Ramirez does a hard shoulder bump whenever he's ducked down, and Nova would try to come in and throw a flurry, and Ramirez, he'll just duck underneath him and do a push off with his shoulder, and it kept making Nova go off balance and get pushed backwards. And it's gotta be like, as I was watching the fight the other day, I was like, damn, not for nothing, Nova's losing the fight. He's getting walked down. And, whenever he comes in and throws a combo, his opponent, Ramirez, would just duck underneath it and just push him off. And it was like, man, Nova that has nothing. He's just getting backed up. And it looks like whatever he throws, outside of a couple shots he would land as Ramirez was just walking in, he really had nothing for him. And that's what I mean. Like, the referee didn't really warn him, And when I'm thinking of Dogboe, I think Dogboe, he's powerful, but he's changed. Them beatings he got from Navarrete, they changed him, and he's changed his style. He's not coming in the ring doing all that bark and all that. He's not he's not the dog he used to be. He's still a dog, and he's still got power. And he's still very durable. But he's not the fighter he was before. He's not the pressure fighter he was before. He's now working on boxing and countering and stuff. And I just don't think he can box anywhere near on the level as Ramirez. When I think of Joe Gonzalez, who was probably more of the aggressive in their fight, I saw Dogboe like slow down, midway through the fight. I haven't seen it recently, but I remember watching it live. At some point in that fight, I don't know if it was later, I don't know if it was midway through, but I remember Dogboe slowing down and Joet just putting the pressure on him, and he was the one that was coming forward, and he seemed to be dictating the action. And when I think of Ramirez, when Ramirez pressures you, he's still accurate, and he's landing powerful left hands. And you got to worry about his counters. You got to worry about the feints and him changing levels and all this stuff. Just on a technical level, he's way better than Isaac Dogboe. And believe it or not, I would prefer for this fight if Isaac Dogboe would bring some of the old version of him back into this fight. Because if he tries to sit there and box, he has a puncher's chance, but I don't think he's like a deadly, like a super puncher. You know what I'm saying? I can't see him really getting a shot at beating this guy. He would have to really put some pressure on Ramirez. And I don't think he's that kind of a fighter. And even if he was, he would get countered, and he would get countered with hard shots. So I really don't know what the game plan is for him in this fight. I'm not giving him much chances of winning this fight. I do think Ramirez is going to stop him late. I think Dogboe is tough. I mean, he took a beating for Navarrete for 12 rounds 2 times. And he got stopped in the last fight because of the towel being thrown. I don't even think the ref didn't even stop it. So, excuse me, he's extremely durable. But the accuracy of Ramirez, I mean, he counters and he hits you with shots you just don't see coming, man. And the way he did Nova, he did him so dirty. He laid him out. I think at some point Dogboe is going to be getting punished so much that even if he doesn't quit or even if he doesn't get knocked out, that towel's going to get thrown. Because Ramirez is just the way he's doing these fighters. There's a skill gap between them, and I see him stopping Dogboe at some point. And again, his pressure is just educated. He's not throwing a bunch of volume shots. He's making every one of those counters count. And I see him dominating Dogboe on the cards and by stopping him, Dogboe has a puncher's chance, but outside of that, I'm not giving him much of a chance. And it's very debatable whether he won his most recent fights too. They were all close, all very, very close fights. All right, so I have Ramirez winning this one by stoppage. I think it's gonna be late. I don't think it's gonna be any sooner than the 8th or 9th rounds. I'm thinking more like 10th, maybe 11th rounds. 8th round the earliest. But I think this is a 12-round fight. And unless we see something in Ramirez that we haven't seen before. I mean, he hasn't had one 12-round fight. So, but he stopped his last opponent. He stopped him in the 9th round. He's gone 10 before. But, this is his first 12th rounder. But honestly, I don't even think it's going to matter. I think he's going to be so dominant that it's not going to even matter by the time it gets to the 12th. All right. And Dogboe, I've seen him slow down. All right. So anyway, I got Ramirez winning. Again, I'll let you guys know on Saturday if I'm going to jump back on live to do commentary with you guys. But if I do, I'll probably just come on like maybe a fight or two right before the main event, I'll let you guys know. And please subscribe to the channel again. Please smash the like button if you like the content. And I'll see you guys on the next one. I'm tired. I'm going to get some rest. See you guys on the next one. Peace.